Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel and welcome back to yet another video. It's Codebreaker Gaming back with another Tekken 8 video. This is not a gameplay video. This will be a Tekken 8 customization video. For those of you who don't know, Tekken 8 allows you to customize any character in the game to your liking, and they have some crazy customization options. So for this series, I'm going to be customizing different Tekken characters into some of your favorite characters from video games, television series, cartoons, comic books, what have you. In today's video, we're going to be recreating Jason David Frank, better known as Tommy the Green Ranger, from the hit 1990s television show Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. So without any further delay, let's jump into this customization as I walk you through everything you need to do to recreate the Green Ranger. Starting, you need to be using Yoshimitsu. That is the character you see here on screen, and I don't know if you guys can see it, but you should be able to see what I'm going to do here. So for starters, first and foremost, we're going to go to clothes, you're going to go to head, and then you come on down to full face. Now he's got some crazy options down here underneath his face, and these things are pretty pricey, 750,000. You know what I mean? But the one we're going to be using is this one here. It's called the Rebel Army Full Face Helmet. You select it, and as you can see, this kind of looks like Master Chief from the Halo series, but we're going to make it look like the Green Ranger. So we're going to press triangle, and that's if you're playing on PlayStation. Now as you can see at the top, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Those are the different color palettes assigned to different areas of the helmet. If you press R1 or L1, you can move or switch to a different color palette. So we're going to change color palette number 1 to green. This nice green right here. You can also use this one, but it's a little too dark. I like the brighter one. Alright, and you can see the areas of the helmet that were affected by the color change. We're going to switch to color palette number 2 by pressing R1, and then we're going to come on down, and we're also going to turn that this nice color green as well. Now the whole helmet is in sync. It is that nice color green. Press R1 again, and we'll go to color palette number 3. That is the visor. We're going to keep the visor the same color. That's actually does not look bad. For color palette number 4, pressing R1 again to switch to color palette number 4, we're going to keep that one the same as well. No need to change it. And color palette number 5, which is the last color palette, as you can see, it is blue, and that is the lights that are on each side of the helmet. We're going to change that to green. This light colored green. And you see it stands out from the rest of the helmet, which is the exact same color green, but I like it like that. And that's going to do it for the helmet. So we're going to push circle twice, 3 times, and then we're going to come to entire body. Now we go to this TK8, that is Tekken 8 style for player 1. We're going to keep this one on. We're going to push triangle for color change. Now for palette number 1, as you can see, it's blue. Now we're going to go ahead down to white. And as you can see, it is already very much starting to look like the Green Ranger. Now, you guys can use your own discernment here, okay? White is the actual color that this should be. I like it to be gold. I personally like it to be gold, but we're going to keep it white for now, and we'll change it at the end, and you guys can use your own discernment about what color you want it to be. So that's going to be color palette number 1. We're going to change that to white. Now, color palette number 2 is red. We're going to change that to green. As you can see, it's the doesn't matter which green you use. I'm going to use the darker one to get it closer to the helmet's color, actually. Moving on to color palette number 3, we're also going to turn that green. As you can see, that is the rest of his upper body. Again, doesn't matter which green you use. I'm going to use the lighter one. Color palette number 4. That is red. That is going to be his cape. So for his cape, I'm going to turn his cape gold, just to balance out the colors that we see. You can see it's already starting to look very much like the Green Ranger. And we go to color palette number 5. That is his pants, if I'm not mistaken. We're going to turn those green. Same color green as the color palette number 3. Alright, so pressing R1 again, we come on over to color palette number 6. And that is going to be, I'm trying to figure out, I believe that is the pattern that is in his pants. I'm going to turn that gold. Yes. You could also use white here, but for the purposes of balancing out the colors, I like gold. For color palette number 7, after you've pressed R1, this is going to be for his hip plates. We're going to turn that green. Same color green as palette number 3 and 5. Pressing R1 again, we come on down to color palette number 8. This is going to be his knee pads. Okay. Now you can either go white. Oh, I'm sorry. That's not his knee pads. That's the pattern on his satchel belt thing. Let's make that black. Now, pressing R1 again, we move on to color palette number 9. In color palette number 9, it is blue. If you pay attention, there's not much blue left on him, so I'm going to go to white to see what it is. And that is his, kind of like the gauntlets. I'm going to turn those white. Pressing R1 again, we go to color palette number 10, and it is some beige looking thing. I cannot recognize what it is, but let's go to white. And it is his knee guards. Knee pads, should I say. We'll make these white. They could also be green, but we'll make them white. Pressing R1 again, we move on to color palette number 11. Now this will be his boots, or shin guards, should I say. And we'll make those white. Pressing R1 again, we come on to color palette number 12. We're also going to make this white. This will be the padding at the top of his feet. Alright, and then pressing R1 again, we're at color palette number 13. We're going to turn this white also. This will be his toes and the bottom of his feet. And that is how you recreate the boots that the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers used to wear. Remember, they were all very uniform in their appearance, except their primary color. They all wore white gloves and white boots, and they all had white chest piece. Alright, pressing R1 again, we move on to color palette number 4, and that is blue. So instead of white, as you see, that would be the straps on his arms. We're going to turn that to this dark color green. Alright, just to kind of keep some of the green in his boots. Otherwise, we have this white in his arms, and we don't want that. So we're going to keep it green. Pressing R1 again, we move on to color palette number 15, and that is going to be his belt. As you can see back here, it is blue. I'm going to turn this gold. See that? Alright, now pressing R1 again, we at color palette number 16, which is already gold. Now let's see what that actually is, because I'm not sure. Okay, that is going to be the emblems that are on his chest piece. So as you can see, if we turn it gold, they now stand out. And gold is the color that we're going to turn these to. You could make them white, you could make them green, but let's balance out the color some, and let's make it gold. Pressing R1 again, we come to color palette number 17. And this is something that is colored darkly. I'm not sure what it is. I believe this is his wristbands again. Let's turn it white to see. Yeah, once again, it's something in his neck as well as in his arms. I'm going to keep this dark color green. You could use the light color green if you like. Really, the greens are very close in color. I'm going to keep it the dark color green. That is the last color palette. And ladies and gentlemen, that is Jason David Frank, aka the Green Mighty Morphin Power Ranger. Now let me show you guys something. Now with the chest piece, which is color palette number 1, you guys can use your own discernment here. You could make it gold and it will look like this. I personally think it looks better gold as opposed to white, and it helps the flow of the cape if you want. Now you guys, you can use white if you want to stay true, but if you really want this thing to pop while you're on screen doing those battles, I would change it to gold. And you see how that looks right there. All right, now we're not done just yet. Okay, we're going to push circle 2, 3 times, and we come back to, we're going to go to unique. Now under unique, you have different swords that you can select. Now we're going to pick this sword here called the Cursed Blade of Vajra. And as you can see, that changes the sword and the sheath for the sword. Now we're going to press triangle to change the colors. We want this to be remnants of red. That's the tip of the sword. We'll change it to this bright color red here. That's palette number 1. Pressing R1 to palette number 2. We're going to turn that again to a different color of red. Actually, I think the color that was on there was not bad. So we'll leave palette number 2 as is. Come on down to palette number 3 and we'll change that to this red here. I like this red right here. It really looks pink on screen, but I like this one here. Switching to palette number 4. That goes now to the handle of the blade. If you ask me, orange is a very good color for it to be. It looks close enough to gold. And palette number 5, which is already orange. Oh, that is the I see what it is. We'll make that the this kind of orangish, it's pinkish red. Let's just make it red to keep it simple. Pressing R1 again, we go to color palette number 6. That is going to be the sheath for the sword, and I like that to be red. Well, that's actually the fire that's on the sword. We'll keep that as this darker color red. And then R1 again to palette number 7. We'll make that the brighter color red. And number 8, which is already in the same color spectrum, we're going to leave it as it already is. Alright, now you guys see that? We're not done just yet though. Not yet. Alright, so we're going to back out of unique. We're going to come to, now we're going to go to other. And we're going to go to his aura. We're going to use the green vigor. You see how it kind of creates the effect of him being powered up. Now some of you could also use, if you choose to, the green lightning. Or you can use the green aura. We also have fiery arm aura, which is green. But that's just for one arm, so extreme arm aura. Okay, so we're getting a little out of context here. So the one I like to use, I like the vigor, but you guys can use whichever green aura you like. The best one to me is vigor, but you may also enjoy the lightning aura, which is green, or the aura green as well. For his hitbox, I use the default type D, that is gold. And this is just to provide a little bit of balance. You could also use red here if you're getting tired of the green and gold color scheme. In fact, let's use red. You guys can use your own discernment here also, and you can pick whichever one you like. And what you want to do next, you want to come on to his model viewer, and that we're going to come down to change the background, and it'll really pop when you do this. Change the background to this color here, background number 2, and you see how cool that looks. Now you can have the option here if you want to change your pose. If you do, you only have 2 to choose from. Pose number 2, it's his fighting pose. Personally, I like pose number 1 for the purposes of the thumbnail. And once you select the thumbnail, it'll allow you to take a picture so that you know which customization you're going to use. I like mine to be close up, so I'm going to hold R1 to zoom in. Then I'm going to, well, L2. I'm sorry, R2 to zoom in, L2 to come back out. You want to press the touchpad in and use the left analog stick to move up. And I'll bring it down a little bit, zoom in a little bit more, and then I'll take my picture Use this image as customization slot thumbnail. And ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. We have just effectively recreated Jason David Frank, better known as Tommy, the green Mighty Morphin Power Ranger from the hit 1990 show Saban's Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, go ahead and tap the like button. It helps the channel grow. It helps this video reach other people who are Tekken players, as well as people who are fans of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. While you're at it, go ahead and tap that subscribe button. Make sure you got your notifications turned on so you can be notified when I upload the next Tekken 8 customization video. The beginning of this series is the Green Ranger, but please remember, guys, we are going to be doing tons of customization here on Tekken, to include other comic book characters, cartoon characters, superheroes, video games, and all of those things that you guys like to see. So keep it locked here to Codebreaker Gaming. And while you're at it, YouTube wants you to take a look at the video on your lower left-hand corner of your screen, or possibly the upper right-hand corner of your screen. YouTube feels these are the two videos that you should look at next. Go ahead and take a look at those videos. If you enjoyed this customization, go ahead and comment below how much of a Power Rangers fan you are, how much of a Yoshimitsu fan you are, or whether you like this customization of the Green Mighty Morphin Power Ranger. Keep it locked to Codebreaker Gaming for more, and I will see you guys in the next Tekken 8 customization video. Peace.